This is Learning Target 2.1. I can identify an element as a metal, nonmetal, or semi-metal using the periodic table and know their properties. So let's start with the periodic table. You know that the periodic table is better than Google Maps. It looks a little bit like this. I'm just going to draw a very crude one, right? In another learning target, we'll go over what each of these groups and periods are called, but for the time being, there's only one thing that you need to know, and that's a very, very magical line, which I like to call the stair step. The stair step line lies somewhere around here. It looks something like this, and it's the key defining part of the periodic table, at least from what you guys need to know. Right? It looks like this. So you guys have the same reference sheet, so I would highly urge you to pull it out, but here is that stair step line that I'm talking about. Now what's so special about the stair step line is it divides your metals on this side from your nonmetals, right? And anything that's on the stair step line is what we call a semi-metal. Right, so rule of thumb, think about it. If it touches the staircase on two sides, it's a semi-metal. The exception, of course, is aluminum, which we know makes up aluminum foil, and that's kind of a metal. Right, so boron touches it on two sides. Silicon, two sides. Germanium, two sides. Arsenic, two sides. Antimony, tellurium, polonium. Right, so as a general rule of thumb would be the best way to remember. All right, so what we're going to do now is go over some properties of your metals and your nonmetals. So properties meaning characteristics or things that describe them, right? So in this part, I would like you guys to go ahead and jot this down with me in your notes, right? Metals are shiny. So if you recall, or if you think about any metal that you've ever seen in your life, it's probably shiny. A word you might see that also means shiny is luster. Luster. All right. Metals also conduct heat, and they conduct electrons. They conduct heat and electrons, while electrons is also known as electricity, the movement of electrons. So the next one is they are malleable, meaning they can be rolled or hammered into thin sheets very easily, and they are ductile. They can be drawn into wires easily. Right. I'm going to actually jump over to nonmetals because we can think of them as the opposites of metals. Okay, they are brittle. You try and bend it, it'll break, right? So it's not malleable, not ductile. Oh, I think I spelled ductile wrong. Sorry. Okay. Additionally, they are not shiny, and what you might see is they lack luster. Okay. They are also very poor conductors of heat and electricity. Okay, now, the reason why I skipped the semi-metals is they just have properties between metals and nonmetals. Okay, so we have our metals that are shiny, conduct heat, conduct electrons, malleable, ductile, nonmetals, which are the opposites, and we have our semi-metals, which are they have properties between metals and nonmetals. All right, so if you want to think of it this way, right, let's pretend it's a very hot day. You're on the playground, here's some swings. It's a crude looking swing. It's in the sand, etc., etc. Okay, now you're there with your niece or nephew and they want to go down the slide. And you realize there are no clouds in the sky, it's hot. So if you like your niece or nephew, and you see that it is a metal. Would you let him or her go down that slide on this hot day? Of course not, right? Because metals conduct heat, and let's say you actually like your niece or nephew, you would not let them go down the slide. On the other hand, if you don't, obviously, by all means, let them burn their little tushies. Okay, so metals conduct heat, electrons, nonmetals would be the opposite. All right, so let's go ahead and try an example problem. Go ahead and write this one down in your notes. Which of the following sets of elements exhibit metallic properties? So key here is the word metallic, right? Which ones will be metallic? Is it going to be H and C, Al and C, H and B, Sb and Te? First thing you want to think to yourself is what makes it a metal, right? If you see elements and they're asking about it being metal or not, I would highly suggest you pull out your reference sheet. Remember, you will have a reference sheet with you on the day of the test. So as we said before, here's the stair step line. Anything to the left is a metal, anything to the right is a non-metal. So taking a look at our choices, right? So we have H and we have C. We have Al and we have C. We have H and B and we have Sb and Te. Okay. So you want to look at the ones that are the most metallic. So H and C. Hydrogen, even though it's on the left-hand side, is the one exception. Please tell me that you have never seen a hydrogen metal before, right? Hydrogen is actually the one exception. It is a non-metal. It is normally seen in the form of gas at room temperature, so it's not this one. Okay, Al and C. Again, Al is very, well, it's metallic, but C is a non-metal, so that's not going to work. H and B, again, non-metal, semi-metal, that's not going to work. Let's look at Sb and Te. This is your correct answer, Sb and Te. Why? Because they are both semi-metals, right? They both touch the stair step line on two sides. And we're talking about something that exhibits metallic properties. So it doesn't have to exactly be a metal, it just has to have characteristics of a metal. What do we remember about semi-metals? They're slightly metallic, slightly non-metallic, so they will exhibit or show metallic properties.